Hello everyone and welcome to another What I Think review. So, a while back I picked up LEGO Dimensions and I am still playing it at the moment, but obviously I had the LEGO Dimensions patch. You will have seen me review them quite a while back, so it's been brilliant to play them. And the great little feature that happens in it is when the LEGO Doctor dies, he regenerates into the next incarnation, or when he gets to the 12th Doctor, he regenerates back into the first Doctor, and it just goes round and round again. And obviously you get all of the TARDIS interiors as well, different TARDIS interiors, and it's a great thing. But I always thought it was a bit of a shame that it didn't look like we were going to get all of these other versions of the Doctor, the LEGO Dimensions Doctors, other than the 12th and 11th. And then I came across a website that is not an official LEGO website, so I'm going to put an annotation up here just to make sure there are no misunderstandings. They print custom LEGO figures. There is a link to it in the description, and they have been making to sell, again, not official LEGO products, but they are making to sell the LEGO Dimensions Doctors, and also some other ones. They're doing some companions as well. I'm still collecting the companions, but I do have all of the Doctors, and I am going to review them for you today. So let's get straight into this. So first up, of course, we have the first Doctor. Now, one thing that some of you may notice, particularly on this figure, is as he appears in LEGO Dimensions, this does not have the same LEGO Dimensions hairpiece, and there's a very good reason for this, and you will notice this on some of the other figures, is that they don't appear exactly the same as they would in the LEGO Dimensions, because this, the people that make these, they obviously don't make their own custom parts. They simply use existing parts and print onto them, which is what they've done here. So in LEGO Dimensions, the hairpiece on the first Doctor, and I think it's also the same on the 9th, 4th and 7th Doctors, their hairpieces, their headpieces, are specially made parts in the game that do not exist or seem not to exist in real life. So these aren't 100% accurate to what is seen on screen, but in all fairness, that does not detract from it in the slightest. So obviously, as I said, the printing on it, if it's going to track in, I'm going to have to put it down. I don't think I can bring it any closer to the camera. The printing on it is very good. In fact, can I move the camera back slightly? That's probably better. The printing on it is very good. Printed. These aren't stickers. This has actually been printed on it. All of it is actually printed on it. It's printed onto the figure. There are no stickers. You can feel the printing. If you're playing around with these, you'll probably find that the printing may come off, but again, I just have them as display pieces, and obviously they've also done printing on the back. Again, not a huge amount of printing on the back, but it's the fact that they've taken the time to do that is what makes it good. So there's not really a lot I can say about these in terms of reviews, because they are just figures, so I'm just going to work my way through them and just show you them overall. But that is the first Doctor. Then we have here the second Doctor, again, very nicely printed. It's worth saying as well that I think only two of these custom ones have reversible faces. It's the 5th Doctors and 10th Doctors have reversible faces, which I will show you when I come to them. But again, very nicely printed. And as I said, again, it's the printing on the front works very well. But then they've also done the printing on the back, which again, it's the smaller details like that that really make them look good and really make them stand out, I think. So next we have the third Doctor, complete with cloak, or I should say cloaks, because they've been very inventive about this. Because in the game, he's got a black cloak on the outside and a red cloak on the inside, and obviously LEGO don't make a cloak that's two colours. So what they've actually done here is they've just used two cloaks of two different colours, and it looks really good, because even where it sort of peeks out slightly from the edge, it does look like there's a kind of black lining to the edge of the cloak, and I think that works very well. And obviously there is, his head's just come off. There is some printing on the back, but again, you can see, no double heads on this one. The hair pieces on these, some of them, particularly on the 5th Doctor, are slightly loose, but again, you know, these are custom-made figures, and I'm guessing that where they have to print the heads, obviously they've got to get the blank heads. I'm pretty sure that Lego don't make blank heads and bodies and things to print, so these are probably not actually even made from official Lego. The hair pieces I think might be official Lego, but the head, the blank heads of the blank bodies and things like that, I'm guessing are parts that they have either made themselves or that they have found someone else has made. And obviously, again, I'm sure people are going to say, well, if they make their own parts like that, why can't they make the, you know, the head pieces and bits that look, you know, that are the right looks and things like that? You've got to bear in mind that they probably have the mold. You know, you can basically a Lego figure is a Lego figure is a Lego figure, and once you make a mold of one Lego figure, in the same way that all the heads are the same shapes, all the bodies are the same shape, so once you make a mold of one, it's very easy to mass produce them. Whereas making an entirely new mold for a headpiece which doesn't exist as a real Lego part, that takes a lot of work. So I can fully understand why they haven't, you know, made headpieces and things that are accurate. But again, once you look through the figures, you'll really see that it doesn't make a difference at all. And talking of inaccurate headpieces, we move on to the 4th Doctor. So again, as you all no doubt noticed from LEGO Dimensions, there are several differences here. Now, this version, when you order it, it does come, I don't have it to hand, but it does come with a hat, but obviously the hat doesn't have the hair sticking out from underneath it, as you would see in LEGO Dimensions, and also, he doesn't have a scarf accessory, as you see in LEGO Dimensions, but again, really doesn't detract from the figure. The printing on this is absolutely fantastic. I really can't move it any closer to the camera because of the tracking, I apologise. The printing they've done on this really is absolutely top notch. You know, even you know, he's even got things like elbow patches on his jacket. They've really done absolutely sterling work printing these up, and I'm sure, again, that some people are going to say, once they look at the website, they're going to say, oh, that's very expensive for a figure. But you've got to bear in mind that these people are having to probably make a lot of these parts themselves, i.e., as I said, having to mould out the parts themselves and then print them. I mean, I actually genuinely think, and this is just my personal thought, I actually think that that they are charging almost not enough for these, because these really do look, feel. Again, they are not official Lego products, but if you didn't know that, and at no point as well, I want to make this clear, at no point do they advertise them as official Lego products. They are, on their advertising pages, they make it absolutely crystal clear that these are not official Lego products. These are custom-made toys. They are not official Lego products. But again, if you did not know that, it would be very easy to mistake them for a Lego product. That is how high the quality is. It is absolutely superb, and I think that they have done an absolutely sterling job making them look real, and making them look real, and making them look as close to they can in the game as possible. So now we move on to the 5th Doctor, and that little tinkling sound of Lego you heard was his headpiece. This is one that the headpiece unfortunately is quite loose on this, but again, it's still, I mean, you know, it's not like ridiculously loose, and again, absolutely fantastic printing on this, making him look perfect. And again, you know, printing on the back, and of course as well, he has, in case you want him with his brainy specs, this one has a double head. I like to have him without the specs. Maybe that's just me, but you know, it's nice. It's nice that they've added in that little touch, because obviously in LEGO Dimensions, you know, he will put his specs on and off. The same with the 10th Doctor. So it's great that they've added in that little extra. I thought at the beginning, thinking, well, could they have done that? You know, could they have had double faces with the other Doctors? Because I know on the official 11th Doctor figure. You know, he has a serious face and a happy face, and I was making me wonder, well, could you do serious faces, happy faces on these? But again, I don't think it would have worked very well, because, you know, you've got, like, the first Doctors and second Doctors, they don't really, I mean, maybe you could have had a smiling face, but, you know, you could have had a smiling face on the second Doctor, but I don't think smiling face would have worked on, like, the first Doctor, for example. So I can understand why they haven't printed them all on printed double faces on all of these. And so here we have the sixth Doctor. Now maybe it's just me. This isn't a complaint at all. If anything, it makes me laugh quite a bit. His eyes, they look slightly more manic than any of the others. Maybe that's just me, but anyway, yes, that probably is just me. But again, absolutely fantastic printing detail front, and obviously this one is probably, I would have said that this one is definitely the one that's got the most printing on the back. And again, this really shows to me, not to take anything away from the printing on the front, but especially the printing on the back, it really shows to me that the people that make these custom figures, they put in a huge amount of effort into making these look good. And I look at some Lego figures I've had over the years, and to be fair, I will say this, Lego have got a lot better in doing this. But I look at some of the Lego figures I've had over the years, and there are some where they never bothered printing on the back, or they did very little printing. And it's great that Lego have started doing that. I think that is a full mark to them that they have started doing things like that, because it's invariably things like that where, I mean, to go back to looking at things that Character Options and Underground Toys don't do or don't do with the Doctor Who figures, there are some things that the fans do, that they custom build figures, and they do things that are so easy for Character Options and Underground Toys do. You find it difficult to think, well, why don't they do that? This is the reason why people have issues with what they do, because they don't put the full amount of work into it. When, you know, it takes somebody who makes it as a custom figure a few minutes, you know, a matter of days to do it. And yes, there's a big difference between mass producing something and doing something singular on one product. But when it comes to doing the small details, and they miss out the small details that are very easy to do, that's where it becomes an issue. And I think this is a great example of where I think Lego have started to look at what the fans do, because I have noticed, as I said, some of my very early Lego figures, they do not have printing on the back of them, and now they do. And I get the feeling that maybe Lego have realised, thinking, actually, if we put that little bit more detail into our figures, we will definitely, they will definitely be much more popular. And it is this level of detail, bearing in mind that, again, this is a custom figure, this is not an official Lego product, but this is this kind of rare detail, overall printed detail, that I think is really needed in official Lego figures, and I'm glad to see that it is something that is starting to be done, because it really makes a figure stand out. And I think that is why these figures look like they could be actual real products, is because the quality of them is so high, and the quality of these custom figures is so high, and it just goes to show how high the quality of an official Lego product is, when it is very hard to tell the difference between the two. So next up we have the seventh Doctor. Again, great printing front and back. Now this did come with, again, I don't have it to hand, but this one did come with a umbrella accessory, again, which comes with the figure. Now this is the other thing as well, as you might know if you've played Lego Dimensions. Obviously his hat has hair out from underneath it. Again, they haven't done this, but again, that's because they would basically have to take this hat and then add bits onto it to be able to get the proper sculpt. And again, it'll be a lot of work to do that. I can understand why they don't do that, but at no point would I look at this figure and think that's not the Seventh Doctor. And you know, a tiny insignificant difference to the game. What we see in the game does not detract from this figure at all. It looks absolutely fantastic, and I think they've done very well in capturing these figures, in capturing what they can capture in the game. So next up we have the 8th Doctor. Obviously this is the Night of the Doctor variant, and I think this is actually one of the... I don't know the sales figures on these, I will say, but I think in LEGO Dimensions, I think this is actually one of the more popular ones, maybe because he's got the big grand console room in the game, but maybe it's just... And this is... I'm going to go slightly off topic here and talk about LEGO Dimensions. This is nothing against this figure. This figure is absolutely fantastic. Again, fantastically well printed. They've made it look absolutely brilliant to how it looked in the game. It really does stand out. But I would have preferred to have seen a proper 8th Doctor rather than a Night of the Doctor variant. Now, again, maybe that's just me. Let's see if I can do... I don't think it's going to work. I don't think I've got a head. I was wondering if I could quite easily swap over a head. This is going to look slightly odd. I'm going to take the 6th Doctor's hair. Imagine the hair is brown, and you had just that change. If you had brown hair, that piece was a brown head, you could have very easily had an actual version of the 8th Doctor. And as I said, maybe it's just me, but I would have much preferred to see an actual version of the 8th Doctor rather than a Night of the Doctor version. I like Night of the Doctor. I have nothing against it. It's actually an incredibly good mini episode. If anything, I think it's a shame they didn't make more of it. But as a figure, as a LEGO figure in the game, I would have much preferred to have a proper 8th Doctor. That's just me, but there it is. That's how it stands. So next up we have what is probably my favourite LEGO Dimensions figure. It is the War Doctor. I don't know why this is my favourite. I really like the War Doctor. I really like John Hurt's portrayal of the War Doctor, and so to have him in a LEGO Dimensions figure, have him as a LEGO figure, is absolutely brilliant. One day, once I've far into the future, this is not something you should expect to see anytime soon, but one day in the future I would like to make a custom version of his console room. I'm not hugely bothered about classic console rooms and other new series versions, but I think I've got a soft spot for the War Doctor's console room because it's a great mix between new and old. I think that's why I like it, and I think of all the LEGO Dimensions characters and LEGO Dimensions figures, this is certainly my favourite one, and one that often I think it's the one that, as much as colourful and good as the other ones are, and again, this is nothing against the custom makers. This is again going back to actual LEGO's design, because obviously these figures are all original LEGO designs. This is definitely one that draws my eye in the most, I think. So yes, I do think this is certainly my favourite, and I'm very glad to have this one in my collection. So next up we have the 9th Doctor. I really hope my camera is tracking this properly, and it's not going to come out blurry. If this footage is slightly blurry, I'm going to have to probably re-record this, which is going to be annoying. But yeah, so we have the 9th Doctor. Now again, hairpiece, not the version seen in LEGO Dimensions, because it would require a entirely sculpted new piece. But what I think, again, now maybe it's just me, but what I think would have been good for them to do, perhaps in-game as well, would have been to get rid of the hairpiece, because they've printed on part of the hair, but basically just to have printed the hair on the head, and you know, if the little bit on the top is still there, it's still there. But I think that would have worked better. But again, maybe that is just me. But again, you know, I look at this and at no point am I going to think, oh, it's not the Ninth Doctor. He does have a bit of a 1950s greaser look going on. But again, I look at it, think that is definitely the Ninth Doctor. Again, I'm sort of running out of things to say these because the majority of them are just, you know, printed and there's not a huge amount to review on them, but it's the little details like that that I like to try and pick up on when I can. And next up we have the 10th Doctor. Again, very well printed because you've got all the pinstriping on there, and you've even got obviously pinstriping a bits on the back as well. Now again, this one does have a head with glasses as well, which is nice to see. I was contemplating and thinking, should they have put the brown version of the War Doctor's hair on here? Again, not the makers themselves, but again, Lego Dimensions. I'm referring to Lego Dimensions. Should they have used that version there? But I can kind of understand why they didn't, because he doesn't always have the spiked up hair, and I think this sort of slightly combed over version that sticks out slightly, I think works better for the character, and certainly fits easier. It makes it more generic, and again, at no point are you going to think that's not the 10th Doctor. Now, the only other figures I do have, obviously, are the 12th and 11th Doctors. Now, these are official Lego figures. So let's pick. Let's see what. For as a means of picking one that's got a decent amount of printing on it, I think I'm best off sticking with the 10th Doctor here. But again, you look at these, and with the possible exception of the whites in the eyes being slightly too large, just generally, if you saw these together, you would think that it is an official figure, and that they are official figures, and that I mean, it's very, very hard for me not to make it sound like these are official figures, because the quality of them is so high. Again, they are not official figures, but the quality of these is absolutely superb. It is absolutely brilliant, and I think that Lego are going to find that they have, if Lego don't release an actual 13, or possibly by the time they decide to release it, 14 Doctors set of Lego figures, I think they are going to have seriously missed the trick here, because these figures are just something that I know so many people want in their collection, and at the time of recording this, I've posted a thumbnail, I've teased the thumbnail saying I'm doing this, and I've already had people going, oh my god, I need these, where? Well, as I said, there is a link in the description if you do want to buy them. They aren't cheap, but to give full credit to the makers, they are worth absolutely every penny. I honestly not sure, and I'm not going to add up how much I have spent on all of these, but I'm pretty sure it's probably over a couple of £100. But a couple of £100 for some Lego figures, some people would consider that absolutely insane, but personally, worth every penny. Very pleased to have them, and I'm not sure if they're going to be on display on my shelves at the moment due to space, but you will certainly see them at some point in future when I get a full office again. So that was my review. I won't bring them back all into the shop because I won't be able to fit them all in shop. That was my review of the Lego Dimensions custom printed minifigures. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and be sure to check out the description below for a link to my Patreon. There is an exclusive webcomic and rewards people who support it, and the funding generated by my Patreon helps me fund future videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.